Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to the NoDQ review, episode number 113 here on the NoDQ.com YouTube channel. Let me throw it over to our moderator for this evening. He moderates every time. Virtue, how's it going, man?
It's going. Welcome to the NoDQ review number 113, and I am Virtue, being joined by the elite panel of NoDQ. This time around, it's myself, Son, Jeff Meacham, and Aaron Rift. What's up, panel? Hey, Jeff, what do you take for pain medication? Like, I've done a lot of walking lately, and like running and jogging, and my quads, my thighs hurt like heck. I'm not a Tylenol guy. I might be an aspirin guy, but like just to take the edge off. Anything for muscles?
General relief, you want to go with the naproxen family, the Aleve guys.
Okay. I'll have to look into that.
The other little bitty blue pills. And then I actually got prescribed when I had my surgeries a thing called Tramadol. If you're fully prepared to sit down and not move, Tramadol is your good best bet because it will conk you out.
See, I'm not a big drug guy, so like aspirin to me just to take the edge off, but I still like full control of myself. Anyway, Jeff, what's up?
It's a great week, man. We've been celebrating my 30th anniversary all week. We had our main event topic 30th anniversary last night on TNT, so it's a great week in wrestling, I think. So
yeah, and we'll go over these topics. We got about 6 of them.
There we go.
Welcome back, West Coast.
Ahead of us. I love it.
Son, over to you. Welcome back. We try to get you on at least once a month or so, and tonight you are on. What up?
Glad to be here. We got a lot of exciting topics to talk about. Chris Jericho, 30-year anniversary. I'm pumped. Let's go.
Yeah. Thank you for being on. And, of course, the boss man, Aaron Rift. What's up, man?
I'm doing pretty well, and even though he's not here with us on the video, Big G is here with us in the chat room. He sent us $40 via Super Chat. Says,
Jesus.
Here's to a good discussion. I don't know. You'd have to ask Big G because it's his Super Chat. But thank you for that. We really do appreciate it, Big G. Much love to you. And I'm ready to go. I'm ready to talk about the topics. I'm curious to get everyone's thoughts on Jericho. Let's do this.
That's Big G securing a spot, but he knows he's here 3 out of 4 weeks. He's the one guy that if nobody else could be on, we always have Big G on. So you will be back. All right, let's finish our last discussion here, because Aaron, I know you talk about this as the NXT TakeOver 31. I always like to just dive into it a little bit more on the reviews after a pay-per-view. Escobar retained. Kushida beat Dream. Obviously not a surprise. Dream right now with all that controversy going on around him. They're not really putting a spotlight on him. Damian Priest beat Gargano. Gargano's always full of great matches. Io Shirai beat Candice. So I'm surprised Gargano and Candice both lost. Those two, it's like, that doesn't matter if they go over. You know you're going to get good matches out of them. And it's almost like Gargano's takeover. I wonder what his takeover record is. It's not very good. No. But you don't worry about that with Gargano. You just think, wow, great match. And, of course, Finn Balor defeated O'Reilly. I was a little mixed on O'Reilly getting a title shot. Aaron, you've touched on this. And also, what's up with these injuries? Like, why are people getting injured at NXT? It doesn't have to be real, folks. You can make it look real and still get a pop from the crowd. So what's everybody's final take here on TakeOver 31? Son, I'll start with you.
You know, I always say in my reviews with NXT, you're never going to get a bad one. It's going to be either good or great, and this was no exception. The matches were excellent. Even if this one didn't have as much star power as it usually would, it just proves how much Triple H, his NXT crew, and the talent go out there and putting together a great show. The wrestling action was excellent. I enjoyed a lot of the psychology that was in a lot of these matches, the main events. It's unfortunate we had injuries in the main event, but overall, a really great, solid show. Can't complain. And I like the new presentation of the whole with, you're having like this kind of miniature the miniature Thunderdome, kind of like that, with the cage and everything. So it's awesome. And Triple H paying homage to WWF, previously, even before that. So I thought it was a lot of cool. Once again, NXT, it can't have a bad takeover. That's all I can say.
What was the best match in your opinion on the show?
It felt like every match got better and better and better. I would probably say it's got to be between, though, maybe the Cole main event. I really did enjoy the women's match with Io and Candice, but that last main event I thought was incredible. It started off slowly, but then built up even more. So I guess maybe the main event. It did kind of just feel like every match got better and better.
All right. Yeah, for me, it was Priest and Gargano, but, Gargano from Cleveland, maybe I'm biased. Jeff, what do you think here on TakeOver 31? it seems like 31 of them already, you know. And I remember when there was a delicacy to say these are great shows. Now it's like there's been so many.
Yeah, it's almost like if there's a bad show, we're all going to have a mild stroke over it. Oh my God, no! It's really what it's come down to, because the quote unquote main roster has been so substandard in the diehards' eyes that TakeOver almost, it's like if TakeOver has a great show, if TakeOver has a bad show and the main roster has a good pay-per-view, we're going to be like, what do we do? What happened? What's going on? As far as the best match, there's no Cleveland bias for me. I love the Gargano match. I thought it was an awesome match. And again, you know, I'm also partial to Johnny and Candice because of my friendship with Candice over the years. But I thought every match was great. I agree with Son 100%. Every match built and built and built. They kept getting better and better. But I feel that overall presentation, the entire length of the match, Gargano and Priest definitely blew me away more than anybody else.
Now, Jeff, do you think that is Dream ever going to get out of this doghouse? I know he had some serious accusations against him. Fact remains, he's still employed. He's still being used. You know, it's still a trial. Got to go to trial. Get in trouble by the law. There's still a process. So until any of that happens, you know, I don't know if he's admitted anything, but like, is he ever going to come out of this, or is he done?
It's very hard to say because, like you said, the fact of the matter is he's still employed. Like if there was any concrete, definitive proof that this was a legitimate case to be made in the eyes of the law, he'd have been gone, long gone. WWE, you know, our boy Jerry McDevitt does not mess around with shit like that. He doesn't. So if there was legitimate cause to be concern to be had, he would have been gone. So I don't know if they're keeping him in the doghouse or if it's just, quite frankly, so much of the shine fell off of him that WWE just kind of goes, let's see what he makes of this particular month's brand of chicken shit. See if he can make chicken salad out of it after all. And if he can,
Triple H did call him immature, and you know, I don't know if that's the kayfabe backstage type thing he was referring to. I would assume so.
Well, you know, I don't know if Aaron saw him on the NXT house show loop prior to becoming the Velveteen Dream, but I saw Patrick Clark right after Tough Enough when he was starting to develop his character, and I was hearing even then he was kind of still being an immature, cocky ass. And if he hasn't come out of that in 5 years, that's not good.
You know, I mean, he had a lot of talk, a lot of buzz the last couple of years, and then everything that's happened this year, it's the point. We got to talk about it, get everybody's opinion. So thank you, Jeff. Aaron, what would you like to add to this? I know this is regurgitation for you, but go ahead.
Okay, well, Big G sent in $5, and he says, yes,
that one's for me.
Split it.
Whatever you guys come up with, I don't care.
All right, well, there you go.
I need a shirt or a mask.
And as far as Gargano's TakeOver record goes, it's 4-15 according to Curtis Butler.
I mean, but do you really look at that? You just think, wow, Gargano had another great match.
Well, that
was Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania.
Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania. How many times did he actually win at WrestleMania? You know, so it's
That was my favorite match, the Gargano match with Damian Priest. The main event was great for what it was, but I did have my issue with Kyle O'Reilly just being thrown into that match randomly. Like, I would have liked to have seen him get built up for 6 months before getting a title match out of nowhere. But I get it. We've had injuries, we've had COVID outbreaks, and WWE had to play the cards they were dealt. And like you all said, another really fun NXT pay-per-view. They always put on good to great shows. I really liked the change as far as the Capitol Wrestling Center goes, having people there at ringside, having the people on the screens. Nice improvement over what they had before. Good stuff. The only real negative was the injuries. You had Finn Balor with the broken jaw in 2 places, and Kyle O'Reilly got hurt. And then on NXT this week, Ridge Holland got hurt and had surgery. Just a rough week, you know, especially coming off of the recent injuries, Karrion Kross being hurt. NXT kind of cursed right now. And hopefully Balor is able to come back pretty soon and WWE doesn't strip him of the title just like they did Karrion Kross. That would be terrible.
Safe. Like, just work a little safer, you know? Like, that's it.
Well, it's funny. Michael Gonzalez earlier in the chat said, is the NXT Championship cursed? I mean, since Keith Lee lost the title, we've had injuries to the next two champions, so maybe Retribution has a little bit of voodoo in them, and Dominic is cursing the champions out of the Keith Lee's not champion anymore.
Hey, maybe they can bring the Godfather back as Papa Shango.
Yeah. Charles Wright's not doing anything in the business anymore. He's not in this anymore. Are you, Charles? Oh, wait, that's right. You still are when you want to be. That's right.
Well, when there's injuries, there's always the next in line, right? That's what they always say. But good for Finn Balor. Finally, he was in NXT all that time. And I'm like, why is this guy not competing for the main event, the world title? And there he is. So that's TakeOver, everybody. All right, let's move on to a little bit of AEW here, a little bit early in the show. Cody Rhodes is back, obviously, and he got his dog collar match against Brody Lee. Solid match. I have a funny thing to say about this afterwards. So he made his triumphant return, within the last couple weeks, gets this match, wins his title back. The hair is black, just writing Cody. Like Vince Russo said this, and it made me pop, of course. Jeff, I'll start with you on this topic, that they're going to fabricate Cody as the face of AEW so much there'll be a bronze statue in front of Daly's place of him. I laughed because I could see it. So obviously, I get it, right? You want to create the face of the company. That's what they're doing with Cody. That speech afterwards, the promo after the match, it reminded me of the Goonies speech. Like, this is our time. And he was kind of crying a little bit. Great promo.
Yeah.
And Cody, I'll give you props. When you can make me think of one of my all-time favorite movies that no matter when it's on, if I see it on, I'll stop to watch it, the Goonies, then you win me over there. And so that, I'm not saying that in a bad way. But, Jeff, thoughts on Cody Rhodes?
I have been so high on Cody Rhodes for so long. I have the distinct memory of being outside SummerSlam 2011 when he was still doing that ridiculous shield on his face for the injury from Mysterio, and we took a picture, he and I remember that. And then I remember JJ taking a picture with him with the bag over his face. JJ had a paper bag over his face just to live the gimmick. It was such a great touch. And then there I was 7 years later, posting that picture next to the picture of him becoming the NWA World Champion, and finally, realizing his potential. He has more than done that the last 2 years since AEW became a thing. I think Cody has been up until now one of the more underrated guys, not underrated, underappreciated talents in wrestling, and I think Cody is definitely as good as AEW is presenting him to be. I think that he is definitely the face of AEW right now. I mean, you've got the Bucks who are kind of, on the fence of, the fans, with them or not because of their attitudes or whatever. Kenny's kind of off in Neverland like he's always been. But
he's missing Japan, I'm telling you.
I was going to say the same thing. His promo last night made me think, God, he misses the Orient. He needs to get back over there. He's floundering in his own mind over here. I really think he is. But Cody came back. He didn't miss a beat, man. He went right into it. And my goodness, Aaron and I were talking about this last night on the review. That dog collar match was something. It was easily one of the best matches of 2020, period. Not just AEW, but period. And now he's got Cassidy next week. Cody's the guy. We talked earlier about Shawn Michaels and and the like being the guy that can wrestle anybody and not look bad. Cody's right up there with him. And I've yet to see Cody have a distinctly bad singles match.
You probably could look in WWE when he was Stardust, and maybe not his fault necessarily, but how they.
And what?
That's where you would have to go to find him.
Exactly, 5 years back. So that's and it was a brief moment in his career where he was again turning chicken into chicken salad. So.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Jeff. Son, what do you think here with Cody Rhodes? Right back on top, that bronze statue's coming to Daly's place, baby.
Well, should definitely be something interesting to see that time comes. When I think about Cody Rhodes and I look back at his career in WWE and I look at what he's doing in AEW, I think it is definitely some of the best work he's done. His promos, his matches, and I will give respect in the fact that he's willing to not show that he doesn't want to be like, hey, because I'm in charge of the company and everything, that I want to go ahead and put myself in the main event. But I do agree with what Jeff and Aaron were saying in their review, that at the same time, Cody Rhodes is one of their biggest stars. So definitely, as you're trying to build that brand, he should be more towards the main event. Overall, though, I good. The collar match and everything. That was brutal. It's good to see two guys who I felt never got pushed all the way as far as they could be in the WWE get this spotlight in AEW. And this is one of the healthy things you get about competition. We're able to see the better parts of a superstar that we weren't able to see if WWE doesn't utilize them. So overall, I think what I'm seeing from Cody and AEW, definitely one of the highlights for the whole year that we've seen AEW around.
And son, Cody's not afraid of color. He's not afraid of blood. And that's an old school wrestling thing. You know how WWE's PG and nope, can't do it. I like this. Like, you know, if it's done properly, obviously. I mean, there's hard ways that happen. Cody's been busted open the hard way. But when you properly do it, it adds so much. Jericho's talked about this. What's your thoughts when you just see that blood?
It's awesome because, you know, I'm not saying that, hey, we got to have blood in every single match. Not at all. Yeah. But there are times when it adds to it. What was a recent match, I think, in WWE? We were saying, yes, the Jimmy Uso, was it Jey Uso? Making that, just like his promo said, which one is I? Which one of you, right? But anyways, regardless of what I'm saying, props to them in that match. But that was a match that I thought could have used blood when it was Jey versus Roman. That could have used blood. That was one of those times. So I'm glad that in AEW, they're going to be alternative to WWE and go like, yeah, we're going to bring the blood. It was a blood feud, and so it should have blood.
Yep.
Blood.
Well, right. There was nobody loving more color in his match than the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. So Cody and Dustin are both like, like fire like suns.
The problem with getting rid of the blonde hair is when he bleeds now, like you don't really see the blood as much. Like back in the day, Ric Flair would have the bleached blonde hair, and you'd have his hair just all red from the blood. And I think Cody had the same
those effects. I mean, that's why wrestlers always had long hair back in the day, and you see more shorter hair today because they would like the AJ Styles does. It's the hair whip when you get punched. It's effect. The bleach blonde hair. So when you got busted open, the blood. That's a great point, Aaron. Yeah. What would you like to add to this?
Well, Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you, Psycho. He says the dog collar match should have ended the show. I agree, but I think it was put on the middle of the show because of the VP debate, which did 50 million viewers, by the way.
Unbelievable.
Quite a bit more than AEW and NXT, but hey, both shows were down a bit, so I'm not surprised they wanted to put the dog collar match on before the debate started, which was at 9 o'clock Eastern. And there's also another super chat from Psycho Jet Black, $5. He says, did you notice the fake announcers that were sitting near ringside at TakeOver? Clearly that was not Wade Barrett or Beth Phoenix. Yeah, I forgot to mention that during my review. I did have it in my notes. That's pretty funny.
I mentioned it during my watch along. People were tweeting, texting me saying, I was like, I saw it. I think it's just a matter of what do you call it? Cosmetics. Like you have three people on the mic. You want to have three people in the booth. Now, if they'd have put a blonde female and a male that had hair the style of Wade Barrett and was 20 feet tall, then it would have made more sense.
Hey, I will say this. Easiest payday for them. Just sit out there, watch the show from the best view in the house. Hey, much props to them.
There you go. Exactly.
And honestly, much props to WWE and their production values for able to
make sure. Do we know who they were in being out there, or just stooges?
I think it was just stooges sitting there.
They probably got like $50 a piece. Anyway, back to you, Aaron.
Yes.
Well, I thought it was a great match, and that's pretty much all I got to say about it. I thought it was an awesome match, and I'm glad Cody is giving us the old school wrestling matches, a throwback to the 80s, the old NWA style. I like it.
You still got a grudge against him? Did he block NoDQ?
He unblocked NoDQ.
Okay. After that picture I had with him in the NWA title. Or whatever title that was.
That was me with the NWA title with him.
I had a picture. That was another title I was with. He had a couple title belts, but it might have been the Northeast Wrestling Championship. But anyway, nonetheless.
Well, no, because I remember when I went to meet Cody, Aaron even made a comment saying, what do you think of the hat? And I went, what is he? And I looked at it, he's got NoDQ blocked. That's why. So
exactly.
Well, good. It's good. He must have been reading Virtue's Rage and watching the reviews. All right.
It must have been.
This right here, I can't believe it's went on this long. What is the end game here for Otis's Money in the Bank briefcase? Now, in the past, we've seen the cash-ins where it's shocking and you become a champion. Is that really going to happen with Otis? Let's look at our two champions right now. Drew McIntyre or potentially Orton. And I can't even think of scenario there. And, of course, Roman Reigns. You know that ain't happening. So this is crazy because you think he'll cash in and just lose it. Yes. But like, I get it. They had him win that. Like, nobody would believe it. And you'd all talk about it on the internet. But come on, that's one of the worst Money in the Bank wins. Nothing against Otis, but you're a tag team, middle of the road, mid-card comedy act, okay? The whole interesting angle you had with Mandy Rose, that's now over because she's on Raw. So Jeff Meacham, what's the end game here with Otis in this contract? They got to get it off of him.
I'm thinking of two different scenarios, and they both just they're such a teeth pull to pull off. But I'll go ahead and throw them out there. Okay. The first one's obvious: tag team, cash in for the tag titles.
Did they ever say that? Like, you can go for any title? That's what I'm confused about. You always think of the main titles.
When they initially introduced the Money in the Bank concept, it was a guaranteed world title opportunity at any time in the next 12 months. That was the initial gimmick. Now, it could be argued that the tag titles are, in fact, the world tag team titles. So there's a little bit of gray area there.
Right.
Now, the other scenario I'm thinking is, and I thought this the minute he won it, is he be selfless and let Mandy use it to cash in to become women's champion.
Right. Well, yeah, I like that because I wrote that Mandy has the look to push her to the main event. You need more big stars as the female stars to get that division back up.
She does, and if you notice, the first two outings she had on Raw, she was dressed very similar to the outfits that Trish Stratus wore in her earlier days. So the comparisons are there. The implication is there that she's the next big female superstar. So I would have Otis go to Raw in the draft, and Tucker, I'm sure, that's fine. But I would have a way to have Otis get the contract to Mandy. That's what I would do personally.
I like that, Jeff. That's a great idea. Son, do you have any ideas what Jeff said, or is he just going to cash it in and lose like I expect? What do you think?
Yeah, here's the thing. I am always basically thinking, and I'm sorry, Jeff, just steal your line. Here's the thing. But what I'm trying to say here is I'm about giving a talent a chance. A lot of people are writing Otis off because he's a comedy act. And I was always thinking, why not do a story where you take him and Mandy to the next level? Mandy proves that, hey, she's going to be for him in his corner, said, hey, you need to get serious because the world championship is serious business. And, she kind of starts working with him. You see like vignettes of him training, getting more serious. Look at what they just did with Kushida, who was always the nice guy in NXT. And then when he came out, he beat Velveteen Dream like he stole something.
Now,
and
of course, I know Kushida was a badass in New Japan and actually can fight too. But I get it. And in the American audience, you're right, what you just said. But you know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you. I didn't follow him too much. So for me, being new to Kushida, it was cool to see this side. So if that's what he had before and they're bringing it to the American audience, that's awesome. And that's what I would love to see them do with Otis. Give Otis this mean streak. Build him up for the next several months as a serious contender. If it doesn't work out, at least I can say WWE tried. But the path they're going down with Otis right now as this comedy act, no one's going to take him serious. And no one's going to think even twice if he cashes in and loses. Do this, build off of there are some relationships that people can relate to out there where the guy and the girl both have each other's back and motivate one another. Maybe you could do this story where they both motivate each other to this championship. How cool would that be? 1 year later, they both got together. The next year, they took each other to championship gold. But I don't think WWE is going to go that far. So unfortunately, it'll probably be the opposite of what I said. But I would love to see that.
Yeah, absolutely well said. And Aaron, here's what I think. He's going to try to cash it in on Roman when Jey Uso's vulnerable or something. And of course Roman's just going to decimate him. Like maybe not at first, but that's what's going to happen in my opinion. But I like both your Son and Jeff's ideas. Aaron, anything on this?
It's tough to say. I feel like the ship has sailed with Otis. I was on the Otis train for a while, but I think the storyline has greatly cooled off, and I think it needs some kind of change. You need to do something different with the character or have somebody beat him for Money in the Bank and that person carries the contract, whether it's The Miz
That's
or
a
somebody
good
else.
option. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I mean, Otis could lose this upcoming court case and he ends up having to give it up to The Miz and The Miz cashes it in on Drew McIntyre. The Miz goes to Monday Night Raw. I guess I want to see what happens with this draft because I think that might give us a better idea of what's going to happen with Money in the Bank. And they still got time, but yeah, if Otis is going to cash in, I think you got to try to build him up. But then again, he did beat John Morrison in like 2 minutes. So there you go. John Morrison, considered to be an upper card guy at one point in time.
Somebody in the chat said, what about moving him to NXT and cash in on Balor?
You could do that. That's a
That
possibility.
would be a complete swerve, and the NXT smarts would crap their pants over it, but, you know.
You know, with all the injuries, they might have to.
Yeah, I'm saying.
By default.
Right?
Yeah.
He is the default champion, Otis.
Curtis Butler says, apparently I'm the only one here with faith in Otis. Nerds.
No. Okay, I actually been reading that. I've not lost faith in Otis. I've lost faith in the writer's ability to write for him, because he's got that ridiculous like charisma, but they don't seem to want to go all in with him. He's kind of like a placeholder. It feels like, where they're gonna have somebody, like you said, Aaron, take the briefcase off him to be the main event guy, like The Miz or Morrison or whoever. There's going to be something more to it than just Otis cashes in and fails. So
now, go ahead. Clarification, Curtis Butler. I didn't lose faith in Otis. I never had faith in Otis. He's a tag team character, right? If they were pushed strong as the tag team champs, I would be fine with that. I'm sorry, Otis doesn't have the Roman Reigns look, and that's why I hope he tries to feast at Roman's table. And guess what? Roman ain't gonna have none of that.
Are you?
There you go.
Are you body shaming Otis?
Say this.
I mean, he's a good little hand, like Dutch Mantel. I guess that's one of his famous sayings. Otis is a good little hand. That's all I'm gonna say.
I'll say this. I got faith in Otis. That was like my whole thing that I was saying in the beginning. It's just, I know you need the right storyline. Otis, as he is now, that's not going to work as champion. Nobody's going to take him serious. But you have to give that right build up. If it works out, then yeah. I'm always for giving someone a try.
I mean, imagine if Scotty 2 Hotty won Money in the Bank and was going for the WWE title.
It's the same thing, exactly. Yeah, it's
because of the Caterpillar. All right, let's move on, right? I did a little audio rant earlier this week on Retribution, Mustafa Ali. Now, when we had the hacker angle, I love stuff like that. I remember when Jericho did something like that before he came back one time. Things were happening with the screen. And I love stuff building it into somebody's return or debut. But that hacker thing was dropped. And, like, if Ali came in as that, like there were rumors back then, I would have been fine with that. But they scrapped it. They moved him to Raw. Retribution started coming out, blowing things up, throwing bricks through windows, showing up on both shows. Then as soon as Roman was back, he was never anywhere near were never anywhere near SmackDown or pay-per-view Roman was on. And of course they're on Raw. And the whole, we got signed to contracts because it's less damaging than what we were doing before. WWE has painted themselves not into a corner, Jeff Meacham, into a padded room with this. Now, I like the talent. Mia Yim, Dijak, that's what he was called on the Indies. And I don't like seeing them used like this, but they're on TV, they're getting paychecks. Great for them. Maybe this will be a blessing in disguise for Mustafa Ali. I'm just not buying it. They should have done things the right way. Ali should have been the hacker. They should have slow rolled that. Maybe intertwined it with Retribution down the road. Jeff, take it away, because you can go listen. It's up on NoDQ under the opinion section, my full rant on this. I want to hear everybody else's take. Jeff?
Well, Aaron and I talked about this briefly, I think last night. We were talking about this during the course of the draft discussion after we did our review of Dynamite and NXT. If they are smart, and again, this is us giving WWE any medium of credit, they will reveal that Ali was the hacker, and it's all intertwined.
Okay, so I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, but it's hard to give them that when they never do what you think they should.
Right. Well, this is asking to give the company the benefit of the doubt, the same company that booked Otis to be Money in the Bank. So there's that right there. But again, there is a way to make this work, and I think the Ali reveal last week was definitely helpful. And I think that if they do it right, they can fix it in 2 sentences. Ali was the hacker. The hacker's behind Retribution, and they can just go from there. If they try to turn it into a 20-minute Triple H 2000 promo, people are going to be like, oh god. And it's short, sweet, and to the point. Signing the contracts thing was stupid. I said that when it happened. They should never have been signed to contracts to prevent more damage. Like, no. Like, they need to be the NWO. They need to be Nexus. They need to be, kicking ass, taking names, and causing mayhem and destruction in their wake. And now that, we're contracted, so we can, do it anyway. It's like, why then? Why?
Now, Aaron, I'm going to come over to you on this. It could be something good, but right now, it's typical WWE, just throwing too many stories out there and then intertwining things because they don't know where to go with things next. And I just like things planned out a little bit better and not week to week, script to script. Do you want to add anything to this?
I just will say what I've said before, and Michael Gonzalez brought it up, how Ali should start with Elimination Chamber. What happened with that, how Kofi took his spot. And people were saying, how can Ali be a heel? He's such a natural babyface. Simple.
No.
You have him complain and whine. Nobody likes a whiner. Look at Bret Hart. Go back to that 97. Look at that storyline. The people writing for WWE should look at that storyline from 97. Bret Hart really did get screwed by Steve Austin time and time again. Bret was justified in being pissed off, but he came off so whiny. You just were getting tired of him complaining all the time, and the psychology worked. Bret was, in his mind, doing the right thing. He was doing what was justice. He was not the bad guy as far as he was concerned. The people turned on him. Ali should have that attitude saying, I've always been the good guy. I'm still the good guy, but I'm not going to take this crap anymore. And just have the guys unmask, reveal that they were the NXT guys all along, and just let this angle take a more serious tone. Exactly. And that's really all they have to do. Let them cut a good promo and mix real life with fantasy, put it together, and I think you'll have something really good if they play their cards right.
All right, I'd take that. Son, what do you think here? Like first of all, Retribution, what are they mad at? They had jobs. They had a chance contracts with WWE and developmental. But Mustafa Ali has been on TV quite a bit. They've had opportunities. What are they mad at? Not being in the main event? Well, then say that. Say, because we're not, Kofi took my spot, or you gave Kofi my spot. Say that. Because, you telling me you're mad, you're employed and you're getting an opportunity to work for the biggest wrestling company in the world. They need to just put some more bullet points on some of these angles. What do you think? Details.
Some of you may, I'm about to get to those details. Yeah, some of you may remember I joked about this. When Jerry the King Lawler came back and Retribution came to the announce table, the other announcers ran. Jerry Lawler just stood his ground. A year prior to that, when The Fiend came out, Jerry knew, get out of that ring and go up the stage. And I understand, too, that, yeah, The Fiend is like this mystical, evil, supernatural character. But anytime in WWE over a threat, doing what Jerry Lawler did against The Fiend is how you get him over a threat. That's just one of those small, mini details that I feel they have gotten wrong, Retribution, which has been one of the things that have lacked me having interest in the storyline. What all of you have said is definitely right. Have Ali come out and talk about how it's been one thing after another with Kofi Kingston replacing him not being on TV, him being ready, and them still not doing anything with him. And it makes perfect sense. Tie it into him being the hacker. Perfect sense. Even Dio Madden has a gripe. He was the only person, honestly, I thought had a gripe, because ever since Brock took him out, they never did anything with him. They just threw him in Raw Underground to get beat up. So he's one of the people. So yeah, unmasked everybody. And this is literally the last hope that they have. And if this leads to big things for Mustafa Ali, this is great. I wouldn't mind if when Kofi comes back, they draft Kofi over to Raw, or if they bring Ali and Retribution over to SmackDown. They probably don't want to, because they weren't going to SmackDown beforehand. More of those details. But also you can have what I'm saying ultimately here, though, you can have Kofi and Ali feud over this with Retribution, maybe do something new with the New Day. And I think this might lead to a 5-on-5 tag team match for Survivor Series. They might have Ricochet and Cedric team up with the Hurt Business, just because now they have a common enemy. So that's one thing I see this going next month for Survivor Series.
Well, stay tuned. We know we're going to get more of it.
And I agree with Nzumasa We Trust. The storyline still has potential. And as far as people like Dominic Dijakovic and Mia Yim, like they were prominently featured on NXT, so why would they be mad? Well, simple. They are sympathetic to Ali. And people have been on Twitter saying Ali should be used more. People have said in interviews he should be used more. So again, it's taking reality and putting into the storyline that there are these people from NXT that are friends with Ali and they sympathized with him and they were joining the cause. They were being proactive and trying to help out their friend, and that can be the explanation. Simple as that, as Noah Foster would say.
WWE has to get behind Ali and let us want to. I mean, I know he has his fans that want to see him do good, but there are people like, who is this guy?
Right.
So if WWE gets behind him, I would be all for this angle.
Yeah.
And they never do like they should. That's the problem. It all goes to creative.
People in the chat room are saying that WWE creative sucks and all that, and then Psycho Jet Black had to bring it up. What if Ali cuts the "I don't owe you people an explanation" promo?
Let him have an open mic.
Hey, I want to add one thing too, just to remember how talented Ali was. I think it was last year he was added as a triple threat match, and people were booing, and he was so good in that match. Along with was it I think against Bryan and Kevin Owens, but all the participants so good. Ali was in there. He got the crowd over. So even if you didn't know who Ali, you were on the edge of your seat by the end of that match. That's how talented this guy is.
I honestly feel the only person that could get away with the explanation promo was Stone Cold Steve Austin in 2001.
Man,
honest to God,
that was the beginning of when I got really annoyed with it.
Well, right, and the thing is, he was right though. When Steve said, "It's like I came back to win the title back. I got it any way I could. Oh, you people a damn thing. Shove off." He was right.
Or the writers just couldn't think of something good to explain why he's changed all of a sudden.
My all-time favorite going heel. Well, those times.
We're almost to our main event, Jericho 30, baby. But before, this seems like a weekly topic now since he's been back. Roman Reigns and Jey Uso, just a captivating feud. Oh, Jeff, wow. That promo on Smackdown that Reigns cut with I'm telling you, he's taken acting lessons. He's on. Don't tell me he doesn't have Rock, his cousin, on speed dial. He was in a movie with him. The Rock could not get over in 96, 97, got thrown to the nation, became a heel, got over. Roman, could not get over in the fans' eyes. As of course I thought he was over when he pissed people off and got a reaction. But, man, this is some good stuff. And I'm telling you what, I'm writing an article that should be up this weekend about what really influences Roman Reigns. And, Tito and I bicker all the time, and he said Paul Heyman. Well, Paul Heyman works with Reigns as his advocate manager right now. He's on the road. He's going to whisper little sweet nothings in his ear and give him some pointers. But I'm telling you what, Roman has a family of wrestling history and The Rock. And that promo, Jeff, that's the best promo I've ever heard Reigns cut. The whole love, sympathetic. He delivered it like he was given acting lessons.
I think, and this is going to be a probably a controversial statement. Roman has the potential to be the greatest of the Samoan dynasty. Period. He really does. He does. He has that potential in him. And
over the Rock. I mean that. Let me say it. Over the Rock.
Well, no, hang on. Having said that, The Rock honestly was never, except at the very beginning when he still had the Chia Pet haircut, he was never really pushed as I'm part of the dynasty. I'm just The Rock. Like I'm the great one on this. It was never. Oh, by the way, yeah, he is Peter Maivia's grandson. He is Rocky. He is part of that. They never really tied it into his heritage 100% the whole run. Roman has been pushed away from that for a while, but since he's come back, they have gone. No offense to anybody out there, but they've gone balls deep with this whole family tree thing. He is the chief. He is the head of the table, and he has the potential to be the guy from the Anoa'i family to make the most impact.
Dude, Jeff, are they going there with this? Are they going to a faction of this family by beating up Jey, beating him into admitting that Roman's the head of the table, et cetera, and then maybe Jimmy comes along.
If they're not, that's how they should do it, damn it. I honestly feel, and I don't know if I said this on my show, my network, or one of Aaron's shows. I've been sending me things the last 2 weeks. They should build this the whole way through. He should beat the crap out of Jay, beat the crap out of Jimmy, beat him into submission to joining the cause, and then when there's nobody left to save SmackDown from the heritage of the Samoan dynasty, if you smell, oh yeah, I'm still here.
That was the main event last week. We talked about that. I know you weren't on the show, but yes, that's money.
Yeah, seriously. Even and I get there may not be people in the crowd at WrestleMania next year because we still don't know what the hell's gonna happen tomorrow for crying out loud, let alone on March 28th, right? But if they are able to get the stadium secured in Tampa, Inglewood, wherever, if they've got a decent enough sized crowd, I pull the trigger on The Rock and bring him into Mania to face Roman, and he be the one to either take Roman down once and for all, or to put Roman. Can you imagine if Reigns beats Rock? Oh my God!
Oh, that would be huge.
The fans will be so mad, but they'll be
but maybe not. Now that he's healed, they respect him more, so they're not going to give him that I beat Undertaker night after WrestleMania on Raw.
You know what? I was going to mention that because you talk about people say he's not been over. I don't care what you say. He was over when he walked into that arena.
That through my TV. My brother was there that weekend.
They didn't let him talk for 10 minutes. They were so mad at him, but they were invested.
That's when I jumped on the Roman bandwagon. And
me too.
Yeah.
Son, what do you think here? Where's this going to lead to? Are we going to get a Roman Empire? I know that's not what they'll call it, but God, man, a lot of people have talked about this for the last couple of years, and we have a chance now.
This whole tribal chief, which I think is a much better nickname than the big dog. This whole tribal chief gimmick here that they're doing with Roman is fantastic. I thought at Clash of Champions, that was Roman Reigns' greatest performance in his entire career so far, and much respect to the Usos who put in a fantastic performance as well. This is the reason why I love professional wrestling. When you get those characters, you get those storylines that make you so emotionally invested into the match. This is fantastic. I don't think this feud needs to be Hell in a Cell. I don't know if it is going to go inside Hell in a Cell. I don't think that is needed, but yeah, the promo, all the promo work has been fantastic, and I love this new dynamic. I love that it's not just Roman sitting there and Paul Heyman doing all the work. I love that Roman Reigns is like, hold on, let me talk. And I love it. And it's really coming off like Paul Heyman said, it was Roman who saved him, pushed him out of obscurity. And it's Roman now, showing more of what he can do on the microphone and everything. I always thought Roman Reigns had the talent. Ever since I was sold on Roman, I would say around Fastlane 2015 when he had that match with Daniel Bryan. It's just the way WWE is booking him and that as a babyface and pushing him down everyone's throat like he's going to be like John Cena 2.0. That was the only problem. And now they are fine letting this man be himself on the microphone, just get all the whole sucker and succotash references out, and let Roman's, like, when he had him down, he was like, take that payday, take the ass whooping that comes with this and stuff. I'm like, this is fantastic. Yeah. I love it all.
Now, Sean, there were glimpses of that Roman back when he was still with the Shield. It was later in the Shield. He had the comfort of Rollins and Ambrose there with him, but I was like, wow, this guy seems better than just a meathead. And of course, I let it slide. And of course, it took the whole thing that happened with Undertaker, even a little bit before that, before I really got behind him publicly. But I was noticing things with the Shield out of him still.
Yeah. Early signs. I was going to say 2014, early signs. I remember he said something and fans started going like, Cena sucks. And he goes like, when I'm in the house, you're damn right Cena sucks. And the crowd went wild. We needed more of that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing where this match goes. I'm pretty sure another beatdown. But yeah, it's fantastic. Some of the best stuff going on in WWE.
Thank you. Now, Aaron, I'm going to jump over to you. And I'm telling you, man, when he embraced Jey Uso and said, I love you. Like, I mean, he acting lessons, or he's just saying it because he really does love him, his family, and it comes across genuine.
I don't
think know what it is.
I think he feels the material, and thus it's coming off better. I think it's a lot easier for anybody to deliver their lines more convincingly when they're into what the material is about. Colin Andrews sent in a $2 super chat, says, anyone want to see Roman Reigns lay out Rikishi?
Yes.
I would like to see it. And there was another comment about Psycho Jet Black said, have Reigns run over Rikishi with a car.
Damn.
God,
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now, usually I'm okay with that because it's just karma's a bitch, right? But can you see Rikishi get his big butt over that car like that? There's no way he's doing that. I love Keish, but he's not doing that. It's not happening.
Our boy Big G.
I was gonna say, I wonder if they were gonna do a storyline like that for the 20th anniversary. Do something, the stunt where Jey got ran over. Roman goes out the car and says, "I did it for your papa," and then it just runs off.
There you go.
Or have him hit Rikishi. I did it for The Rock.
I mean, it's a bit comedic, but it would be kind of a nice little throwback reference. Like if they could somehow make maybe a more subtle reference to it, I think would be funny.
Right.
Without it being too goofy for the current storyline. Big G sent in $5. Thank you, Big G. We appreciate it. Says, depends on if The Rock is filming a movie. Yes, and of course the whole insurance thing. We talked about that last week. But yeah, this stuff with Roman Reigns has been the best stuff on WWE television for the past several weeks. And they sold me on a rematch. Like when they first brought up the idea of a rematch, I was like, I don't know. But then I heard the promo and I'm like, all right, I'm sold. Let's do it. I'm confident that they'll make this entertaining and this will keep the momentum going for Roman Reigns, and it's not just going to be, hey, we got to fill time until Survivor Series. They're actually going to do something meaningful with this storyline. So yeah, I'm loving it.
All right. Any other things from the chat before we go to the main event?
Let's do the main event. Oh, and thankfully there's no Mo Cameron here. Otherwise, we'd have quite the debate with this topic.
Chris Jericho, 30 years. 30 years in the business. He might have been in there longer if you counted training. But I just want everybody, we saw Dynamite last night. I just want everyone's take on the best. He's had so many character changes, so many great feuds. Worked for, WCW, WWE, New Japan, now AEW. What's the greatest moments or runs in his career? Now, I could easily step over you guys right now and list two that I want to. I'm going to give you guys a chance because if you mention them, then I'll just say I agree. So, Son, I'm going to start with you. The best of Jericho's 30 years run, match, persona. What do you think? I mean, there's a lot of them. Putting you on the spot.
I've been watching this guy since I was a kid. When he first debuted, I know the first biggest thing that got me really hyped up was when he beat Triple H for the WWF title and it got taken away. Oh man, anytime he roast Stephanie was hilarious. I remember one time him and Rhino and Stephanie were in the ring and he's like, I'm gonna get that. I don't remember verbatim what he said, but it's something like, I'm gonna get that grotesque, nasty beast of a person, and I'm gonna get you too, Stephanie. And they zoom in, and Stephanie's like, what?
You got the gore.
Disgusting, bottom feeding, trash bag, hoe.
Those are the lines. It's so many great moments. He could be comedy, serious. He had some of his all-time great matches with, just going down the line with, he who shall not be named, Benoit, right? He had great matches with Kurt Angle. He had so many great moments overall. Just the stuff he did with Shawn Michaels in 2008, even before that, the 03 one. Even for me as a wrestling fan, back in 01 as a kid, Stone Cold Steve Austin, he's my all-time favorite. I could not stand that Jericho beat him and The Rock in the same night. But as I grew and learned more about the business, I went back and I understand now. Top guys like Austin and Rock, when they reach that high level, it's time for them to put over the newer talent to get over. So that way you got more people in the main event scene. So I remember learning that as the years went by. So, I mean, I could sit here for a long time and go through all the accolades of Chris Jericho, even now to AEW. So it's been a fantastic career. My biggest thing is I hope a lot of the wrestlers getting into the business today learns from Chris Jericho's career and learns the importance of constantly reinventing yourself so that when you reach your 30-year mark, we're not just saying, oh, he had that one great run 5 years into his career and he hasn't done nothing. We're saying all these great years and moments over the decade still going till this day. So congratulations, Chris Jericho, on 30 years of professional wrestling.
Well said. Well said. Jeff, I want to give you one of my two, but I'm not. I'm going to let you go first. I said I'd let all you go before I said anything. So
there are a lot of Chris Jericho moments for me, and a lot of them people are going to go, really? But for me. They're honestly, I agree with Son. First of all, Chris Jericho's entire career on the mainstream stages, ECW, WCW, WWE, WWF, and AEW.
That's right.
All
ECW.
out
I
there,
forgot that.
all out there on the network, on TNT, on demand, whatever. Everything's there. Y'all kids starting in the business, go watch video. Learn something. Telling you. Trust me. Two things really like when you said name of the two things stand out most of my mind, and they're completely opposite ends of his career, but it's okay. The fax paper, 1,004 holds.
Yep.
Just ridiculous. Like it's so. It just and the fact is, we find out after reading his book that during the commercial break he was just taunting the crowd and pissing them off. So when they came back on TNT and he's reading off the list, the people are just eating him alive. And that was in 1997 when he was 7 years in, and he knew then to antagonize the crowd. That's I mean, in 98. Anyway, friggin' brilliant that early in his career. Just amazing stuff.
Jeff, and you'll see when I reveal my top things of him, he's a career heel guy. He was over as a baby face, but his money was with being a heel.
No, without question. His WWF debut, of course, was just phenomenal. I mean, it couldn't have been a better time with the millennium starting, with the Y2K thing being a legitimate scare, and just everything fell into place. And the fact that Chris Jericho went to his post office, looked up and saw that millennium clock and went, called the words, boom, the rest is history. There you go. There it is. The victory over Triple H was, I think, so well done.
Yeah.
Everybody in State College and everybody at home watching on USA still, I think. Yeah, we were the whole world popped. We're oh my god! And then of course Triple H did what he did because Triple H. Honestly, one that really stands out for me is Mick Foley's Hall of Fame induction. Because toward the end of his speech, he goes, "I just got I never beat Chris Jericho, ever." And Jericho's in the crowd going. And they're just totally milking it because they both talked about it in both their books that Mick Foley had ever beaten Chris Jericho. So all of a sudden, the crowd's trying to get him to do a match, do a thing, whatever, and Jericho hops on stage and like lays down for Foley to drop the elbow and get the pinfall, and Foley's like, "Oh, I can't." And God bless CM Punk, man. He knew right away, jump up there, do the referee thing, and Foley kind of walked, and then boom, drop the elbow. And Jericho's sort of like he'd been shot by a cannon, and Foley gets the pin. Punk counts 3, raises Foley's hand, and does the stupid X thing with the crowd, and Jericho popped off. That's the brilliance of Chris Jericho and CM Punk and Mick Foley. All three of them. It's the stupidest friggin' thing ever, but it worked and it was hilarious. And more recently, Judas being sung along by everybody. I am caught up in that moment. Like I will play that song randomly around the house. I'll be singing. My dad will come home from work. What are you? Oh, never mind, Judas. Okay.
I'm surprised you didn't mention his Royal Rumble, the one where he was a surprise, and that's when Ziggler was out there.
I honestly did not really. I mean, I wasn't there for that. Like, I think Aaron was there for that one. So, had I been there, probably would have been more paramount in my mind. But just there's so much great in Chris Jericho's career. It's really hard to narrow it down. But it could be argued he's in the discussion with Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair. Honest to God.
And I will not disagree with you. Not just because I'm a Jericho mark, but because that's the absolute truth. Look at the longevity of Chris Jericho. All right, Aaron, your turn.
Okay. Curtis Butler with a $2 super chat says his debut in WWE, the best debut ever.
It's hard to beat. It's hard. I mean, like, I can't name a better one.
What?
No, I can't.
What about Scott Hall?
I would put that at top 5, but I couldn't say that was better than Jericho.
I would think Scott and Kevin is like 1A.
I got to say, to this day, I still remember getting the goosebumps when Jericho's name popped up on the screen.
I have him right now. Nuts.
Yeah. Like, those are some of my fondest memories. But, yeah, top Jericho moment. I mean, I think the only one that tops that is when Jericho ran over Lucy the dog.
Oh, my God.
Oh.
Or how about when Chris Jericho and Christian shared some ass cream backstage? You remember that one?
What do you do?
Aaron, I thought for sure, because this is not one of mine, but the Festival of Friendship, I can't even say it. Festival of Friendship. That was classic.
That was so good.
Yeah, that was one of my favorites for sure.
And you have to give Owens props. As much as I was not a fan of Kevin Owens for the longest time, Kevin made that whole thing work.
Yeah.
All right, Aaron, is that it, or are you still going?
How about when Chris Jericho broke Chyna's thumb with a hammer?
Oh, God.
That was Jericho was kind of in the doghouse a little bit early on there, and those weren't the best of, but yeah, that was funny.
Well, Spiky Howard, I was kidding with those, obviously. Spiky Howard says Chris Jericho on The Price is Right with Bob Barker is an underrated
classic.
moment.
It's awesome. It's funny. I was at Raw the very first time he defended the Undisputed Championship against Steve Austin in the cage. So that for me, that was cool as a personal moment.
Big G sent in a $5 super chat, says never ever be the same again. That's all I said.
I think
just a little tribute to Jericho.
A spot here on the review.
Hey, don't forget the time he turned heel on AJ Styles. I was at that Raw back in 2016. A huge pop. Good. I was there for that one.
Yep. So they're great. We can keep naming them. The NoDQ Galaxy in the chat. Go ahead.
Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat, says, didn't Chris Jericho once choke out Goldberg backstage? I think that's Jeff's favorite non-televised moment, right, Jeff?
Anytime Goldberg gets punked is a
Dude, I love the whole Gilbert and the whole stuff that Jericho did with Goldberg, even though he could never really get a true squash match that he wanted. That, to me, is what sold me on Jericho.
I was going to say, Chris Jericho completely organically built that himself. He had the Goldberg impersonators. He had Ralphus wearing the Goldberg Zero. Everything in that moment. And what's funny is he mentions in his first book, he goes, the minute they pulled the plug on that and Goldberg dropped him, he knew he was on. Oh, so it was literally a year of, okay, let's go.
You know what, too? This guy was never afraid to give back to the business. He did a lot of jobs for people, and look how many people are better off for it. Still do. Yep.
Orange Cassidy, exactly.
Aaron, what do you got? Because I'm ready to roll here with mine.
Well, how about when he peed in Mr. Regal's cup of tea?
Yep, remember that.
That was a great one, too.
I remember William Regal's face when he came down.
Yes.
He was a tag team champ with the Big Show, right? There you go.
There you go.
But
Jericho is a great song.
Chris Jericho is one of the greatest heels of all time, like Roddy Piper type villainy. Because my number 2 is a couple of years ago when he left WWE and he decided to do New Japan. He goes over there and he has these great matches with Kenny Omega, Naito, Okada, I think Evil Uno or whatever. And he was the Westerner, the aging rock star heel. He let himself go a little bit. He stopped the DDPO. He gained a little bit of drinking weight, which is what, but he's still in good shape for a 50-year-old man. To go over to New Japan and to get that many new subscribers to that New Japan World app, dude, and I think they had to open up another 5,000 seats at the Tokyo Dome. Chris Jericho will forever be remembered for that great heel run, being the Western heel, which is classic New Japan, bringing him over for that aging rock star gimmick. That was money. But the number one heel run, in my opinion, that rivals the greatest heel runs of all time, if not, this might be my number one, is 2008. He came back in 2007, and it flopped. He tried to do the Y2J thing again. It did not go over well. The whole thing with Randy Orton. Then all of a sudden, the hair was cut right when he came back. He started wearing the suits. He started saying troglodyte, calling fans worms. The whole program was Shawn Michaels. That set up, to me, the greatest heel run of all time. And why can I say that? Because he had great matches against Shawn Michaels, John Cena. He got his celebrity spot at WrestleMania against Mickey Rourke, right? The Wrestler was a hot movie back then. But he was going to house shows, headlining house shows as the heel. After the house shows were over, he would stand in the ring and nobody would leave. There were 15,000, 20,000 at these house shows booing him. Old men in the front row, not letting Chris Jericho leave the arena. He went to Brazil and kicked the flag.
Yeah.
That's top level heel stuff. Whether that was incidental or not, and he didn't mean to, he got kicked out of a country, people. Literally. He got sent home and suspended. Chris Jericho, one of the, if not the greatest heel of all time. He didn't do it like he changes gimmicks so many times over the years. So you don't really look at him as like Piper's heel run and that kind of stuff. But if you take the best parts of his heel runs, Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
There you go.
And
honestly, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, Big G has a $5 super chat, which you would like to get in. And if you try to cut off his super chat, you know what happens, Jeff? You know what happens if you cut him off?
I do.
You just made the list, according to Big G.
Right, the list.
There's one more
What's
super
this-
chat.
what's-
I was going to say.
Did you read it?
That was it.
Oh, I gotcha. But yes, that 2008, I was at Unforgiven that year where he got decimated by Shawn Michaels. I've said this before, in that unsanctioned match. And then he came back out and snuck in that main event scramble that Punk got removed from and won the world title. I'll tell you what, that was great. I lost my voice. That was me marking out, being a mark for Chris Jericho. Absolute legend.
Psycho Jet Black with a $2 super chat says, Jericho hitting Shawn's wife got him great heat. As you pointed out, that was 2008 at SummerSlam. And Jericho did win the Superstar of the Year in 2008. He won in 2009.
Shawn Michaels in that ladder match had two great matches against John Cena. Of course, John Cena went over at Survivor Series and Armageddon that year.
Yeah. So he won Superstar of the Year 2008-2009 for NoDQ.com. Plus, he won the Superstar of the Decade for 2000 to 2009. And he won Superstar of the Year last year. Won it 3 times on NoDQ.com. That's quite the accomplishment.
A contingent to the years I said he was awesome. 2008 heel run, and of course,
I know, because you're right on the money. I mean, Virtue knows his shit.
When you think about Chris Jericho's time in the business compared to NoDQ's existence, which is 1998, those of you in the group, 1998, NoDQ, 1998, those last 20 years, Chris Jericho's been the most consistent performer of those 20 years.
Oh yeah, for sure.
In my opinion.
I mean, he's taken the time off that he needs. He's basically stayed injury free for the most part.
Oh, and Adrian sent
That's all I got.
Adrian sent in a $2 or €2 super chat. He says, "I did it for my mama." Brodus Clay's music hits. I think that was in regards to the
that was for the thing with
Roman
the Rock
Reigns
earlier,
running over Rikishi.
Yeah. So okay, Zamazu, we're not saying Jericho is better than necessarily Punk, Macho, Flair, Rude.
Well, he's definitely better.
Speak
than
for
Punk.
yourself, Jeff.
Like, he's better than Punk. I'm sorry, CM Punk's short shelf life.
The thing is, he's saying that they're all rolling over in their graves. Well, most of those guys aren't dead. That's okay. But just because we say that that Chris Jericho is the greatest of all time, it's an opinion piece. Take it easy, guys. Relax, guys. Jeez.
But you also look at it differently. If you look at in-ring work, Shawn Michaels or Ric Flair, but if you look at character and just the way you cut promos and the whole package, you consider Jericho, you know what I mean? Like it's different ways you look at who the best is. Like
right, and excuse me, I'm stuttering. Jesus Christ, I'm so nervous. Like I said,
hey, Junior.
That's it. So Chris Jericho, all those guys you mentioned had runs that were decent length, but they all went away for a while, and they all went for long periods of time. Jericho, even though he's been off, doing the Fozzy thing, doing different avenues of entertainment, Chris Jericho still comes back and wrestles as good as he did in 1990 and in 2000 and in 2010.
Dude,
So,
Jeff, honorable mention, SummerSlam 2005. Chris Jericho was the heel. John Cena got booed and Jericho got cheered.
Yeah.
That Jericho was part of John Cena's mixed reaction era that started beginning.
that honestly,
Whether that's good or bad, I don't know, but
that was the first time people realized, wow, John's not who they want. Like I think so. I think what happened with John Cena is people wanted so bad for Bradshaw to lose the title. It's like, okay, we'll cheer for Cena just cause. But now it's like, oh, now what do we do? Shit.
But that's all I got this week, though. I mean, another great discussion. Yeah. We are over an hour, so we know how this last round goes with plugs. So we're going to start doing them because it'll probably come back to Aaron, and there'll be a couple more questions.
Yeah. So this will be the No DQ encore. If you guys want to send in a super chat with an additional comment. By the way, somebody left the $5 one, but I caught it that it's a troll, and I will not be reading it off. So thank you for the $5, but I will not be displaying nor reading your comment. Anyways.
Go ahead, son. You can go. I'm looking at my fantasy football lineup, so do your plug.
All right, so basically, if you guys want to follow me, as you can see on the screen, how it's spelled, you can follow me on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. There you can find all my content for voice acting, screen acting videos. You'll see Dragon Ball discussions, WWE reviews, and check out my upcoming short film, Battle of Deception. Been working really hard on it for 8 years. I have a teaser, or actually the trailer up now. The official trailer is up, as well as you can see my new update video for where I show you all the behind the scenes of what I've been working on visually these last 8 years on it. So definitely, if you want all that, go ahead. I'll have links in the comment section below so you can see all that. And thank you, gentlemen, for having me on. Always great to come on here and talk about WWE, NXT, AEW, the world of professional wrestling. Thanks for having me. And NoDQ Galaxy, please continue to support NoDQ.
Thank you, son, for being on. Over to you, Jeff.
First of all, Adrian, with your super chat, book it. Aaron.
All right, he says, Jeff, our debate equals top heels of all time.
Sold. Let's do
and
it.
This guy Experience sent in $2. He says, save us Y2J for face and first WWE run as my favorite. They're all great. I mean, you could argue all of them. All right, Jeff, what are your plugs?
JeffMeachamNetwork.com. Yes, I finally own the domain name. I'm so happy. I'm so proud of my damn self for finally getting it locked down. Right now, it kind of forwards to, I don't know why you're showing my SummerSlam thing, Aaron. But,
I always do that.
I know you do. It's okay. That'll take you to JeffMeachamNetwork.com will take you to my link tree, which is basically the YouTube, the Anchor site, and all my social media. So I'm gonna work on building that actual website up the next couple months, and we'll hopefully launch on January 1st. But you can also go to teespring.com/stores/Jeff Meacham Network, one word now, no more hyphens. That's the official store for the Jeff Meacham Network now. You can get the Dazzle Wrestling shirt, the Meachamania shirt, the network logo shirt, which also is changing. I see the things on screen now. Those logos are all going to be changing in the next couple weeks. So I'll feed Aaron the new graphics over the weekend. We can be ready for Monday.
And then it'll take me 2 months to update.
Right, exactly. So, well, just I go in there and delete all my shit out of your files now. That way I can go.
Well, I just deleted the SummerSlam one after all this time.
Woohoo! So yeah, JeffMeachamNetwork.com will take you everywhere you need to go for good old JM.
Thank you, Jeff. Sorry if I'm not ignoring you guys, but I'm setting my fantasy football lineup. The game's about to start.
I was gonna say we got like 10 minutes for football. So.
Aaron's like, "What's that?" All right, Aaron.
This is your fault, Virtue, for booking a Chris Jericho segment that was going to go 20 minutes.
But I knew I could still do this while you guys were talking.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead.
And follow Colin Andrew at NoDQ.com/Colin.
Yes.
Great member of Team NoDQ. And Nick Glavin with a $14 Canadian super chat says, give this to Son. I like that guy. Well, I like you all, but give this to Son. Great discussion tonight.
Thank you.
How much $14 Canadian?
I don't know. Not 14 US.
No, that's 15. No.
What Big G donate? Like
it's still
16?
it's still very nice. Well, come on, Virtue. Any super chat is nice.
No. I know. You appreciate all of them. I'm just saying, Big G was on a roll tonight, man.
Well, Big G's the big baller, so I mean, it's hard to top that.
Oh, so Ash, JeffMeachamNetwork.com. That's the way to go. I changed my name so many times. There it is. Boom, in place.
All right.
So you good, Aaron?
Yeah, just stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest. Thank you guys for tuning in. Give it a like. Give it a subscribe if you haven't already to the channel, and tell a friend, tell your mom, tell your dad, call your mama. Just spread the word however you can.
Tell your grandma.
Yeah, your
With
grandma.
That said, it's been another great show, and we'll be back again next time. You can follow me on Twitter at NoDQ_virtue. You can go over to my Facebook page, NoDQ.com/virtue. Like I said, go to the opinion section of NoDQ.com. You'll see my rant on Retribution. You can read all the columns there, various people. And that's
Tito?
all I got. So, yeah, Mr. Tito, too.
Yeah, your favorite. Now, hold on.
Tito.
Inzamasu We Trust sent in a $5 super chat. No question. No, nobody's keeping us on with encore questions, but that's okay. I know Virtue's got to go anyways. He says, shout out to Son for the Dragon Ball love and for the fresh hairdo.
There you go.
Appreciate it. Always great to see Dragon Ball fans. Anytime I can see WWE and Dragon Ball fans together, it's always great. Two of my
that
favorite
super
things
chat
ever.
was probably just to interrupt me, since I'm
Yes.
the one that always interrupts.
Hey, hold on. Speaking of interruptions, Psycho Jet Black with a $2 super chat says, "Hey Jeff, how about them Cowboys?"
They are a lucky 1-4.
I found out.
This is going to be like that.
Oh wait,
movie
are they going to
in
lose
The
this
Animal.
week? Because they're 1-3, man. They're not 1-4 yet.
No. Oh no, wait, no, because it's week 5. So yeah, okay, well, yeah, they're 1-3, and
So you're predicting them to lose this week again. That's what you just did.
Yeah, they're awful. Well, and the only reason they had that one win is because Atlanta literally stepped on their own friggin' dick on that friggin' return kick. Oh my god!
Nobody has
I feel like
showed virtue yet by
these super chats are
No
going
one
to be
is
like
what?
the 2001 movie with Animal, where the guy keeps going like, "Hey, I got another question." Hey,
Well,
I got another
nobody's
question."
done it yet. Nobody's kept us on for like 3 hours with like sending one $2 super chat after another right as we're about to sign off.
Well, I would
Nobody's
just
pulled it
log
yet.
off then, and you would just go to 3. I mean, it's not a. You can keep the show going if I'm not here, but nonetheless, are we all caught up?
No,
Aaron?
if you leave, we're done. As soon as somebody signs off, it's over.
All right. So for Jeff Meacham, for Son, and
Hey,
for
whoa,
Aaron Redd,
hold on. I'm kidding. Go ahead.
I am Virtue, and we will be back next time. Thanks for watching NoDQ Galaxy. Bye.